man, this game is just so much fun.
You know, normally I don't approve of these hunting gaming breaks, but there is something endearing about this one. It's just so real.
And they let us make such accurate characters.
Yep. Accurate. Just look at that face.
Yes, please do.
Stop it.
No.
You know, the one thing that gets me, though, is the monster designs feel so out there, you know? Like, I appreciate them putting in a few real ones we can connect with, like Rathalos, but, like, what did they think they were doing with Zamtrios? I mean, shh, look at me, I could...
You leave Zamtrios alone!
Alright. Though, if I had to say, out of the few that I've played this year, because, you know, I actually spend time hunting because it's what we do, Cotton! I'd say this one comes in about fourth. I think that's about right for me.
I don't know how much you can really count it, though. It's just sort of a representation of life itself for us. Like, we literally eat, breathe, sleep, and just live Monster Hunter, man.
Almost like it's our job.
Almost like it's our job. But you know what? There have been some absolutely stellar games released this year, and while neither of us has necessarily played all of them, sorry Red Dead Redemption 2, I figured it's about time to count out the year by telling you my list of the top 5 games of 2018.
Okay, seriously, why are you being so formal right now, and what are you staring at over there? Like, sometimes I just don't understand you.
Oh, sorry, let me rephrase that. My list of the top 5 games of 2018, while Josh sort of sits next to me on the bed and interrupts with his list of the top 5 as well.
Number 5. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me.
You're in a house. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, a recent release and a late contender for this list, but it just edges its way in for being the first fighting game.
You know, you could just say that the Monster Hunter simulators are also fighting games.
Okay, the first classic-style fighting game to actually get me into it enough to start considering things like a main character. There is something simply fun about this on a base level that similar games just don't manage, and I think it has a lot to do with the universe the game is set in, and the collaborative nature of fitting all of these characters of different backgrounds and power levels and somehow finding a way to make them balance against each other, and then just the ridiculousness that can occasionally happen. No, not the ridiculousness. The only real negative I have for this game is that the online multiplayer can be, well, more than a touch laggy at times. If that gets fixed, maybe this game jumps up a spot, but a lot is said from the fact that even with that, it still earns its place on my list. From the ground up, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is built as a party game that somehow also works on a competitive level, and I think it is specifically that combination that drew me towards it in the first place, and it's still that combination that continues to draw me in over time.
Oh, what's my 5? Thanks for asking.
And my number 4 is...
My number 5 is probably not mentioned anywhere. That's not true. It's mentioned on this list. That's the point of what we're doing. Why did I... Oh! What I was trying to say is my 5 is, well, going to appear on Cotton's list in a little bit. So I'm not going to say too much about it because really everything I could say is going to be said. But what I will say, this is the vaguest, pointless shit you've ever heard. Happy New Year, guys! What I will say is it is categorically the best type of that game I have ever played. And I know this is cryptic, but you will hopefully have a moment. And I surprised myself at how much I just needed to know what happened next, right? You know when you finish a show and it's like a cliffhanger and you just instead of going to sleep at a reasonable hour, you watch the next 20 episodes because you just need to know what happens. Yeah, I had that real strong.
Number 4.
Destiny 2's Forsaken expansion. I've seen some of you guys in the community mention this one, and I guess you should know that I'm actually playing this quite a fair bit, and I'm loving it. Ta-da! Fuck off, McDonald's. I played Destiny 2 way back last year at the PC release time, and the game at that point was, essentially a bit of a shit show. It has an excellent base, great gunplay, and the general gameplay itself was actually really enjoyable, even if it felt like it was missing a little something, but the content was just so not there. Like it or not, Destiny Destiny 2 is an MMO, and it is an MMO that essentially erased the content available beforehand. See Destiny 1. Like, imagine if when a World of Warcraft expansion came out, they just deleted all the content from the previous expansion. But the newest edition, Forsaken, fixes the content problem for now. A lot of the balance type updates that they've done between the base game and Forsaken's release have fixed my minor problems with the gameplay. What's left is really just a fantastic game that happens to have left a sour taste in most people's mouths from the year before. So if you tried the base game and didn't like it because of these issues, you should drop that opinion for a second. Really, just think about it objectively. Think about it like someone who hadn't tried it, because if you like the sound of being a space wizard, the Space Hulk, or Captain America, or the meanest desperado in the western Milky Way galaxy, it really is worth a second chance these days, if you trust my opinion at all. There is a holiday event going on where you can bake cookies for various NPCs, and you essentially get enough to make a single cookie from doing a single event, whatever that is, like a match of the PvP game mode, you know, running a strike, in whatever it is. You get enough for one cookie. I have made more than 120 batches of cookies, guys. 120 batches of cookies. Thank you, Guardian.
Well, I'm leaving Destiny Forsaken because for me, stop, let go the camera, for me,
run for me!
Give me it back, okay.
Okay.
For me, number 4 is, well, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I know, guys, this is going to be one of those times where there's some crossover. We played a lot of games together, and we're boring people. But for me, personally, I've played every Smash Brothers in the series, while Cotton is obviously new to it, and this one is the biggest and best it's ever been. It's just pure bliss, right? I had a lovely Christmas day where I invited all my friends over, and we had fun, and for a huge chunk of it, we all just sat around and played Smash, and just absolutely fucked each other up. It is the partiest of party games, and it's something that it's hard to express just how much sheer, pure joy with a little hint of, I will feast on your soul if you pick Meta Knight one more time. You think these 6 years of friendship mean anything now? Well, you are wrong. And that is a memory maker right there. And it's just zany fun, and I absolutely adore it. I really, really do.
Number 3.
Do yourself a favor. Stay out of my way.
Detroit Become Human. As a person, I hugely favor multiplayer games over single-player games because they actually let me spend time with my friends a bit more, but sometimes a single-player game comes along that just sort of bashes that thought process into oblivion and sucks me into its universe and its characters just so completely that I just sort of ignore my friends until it's over. If you're looking for a fantastically written story, this is the game for you. If you like the sound of your choices actually making a difference, bam! This game really legitimately does that, and not in the classic hand quotes telltale way, but legitimately you can let your characters die, and not only will they stay dead, ending their own story, but you'll affect the greater narrative as a whole of the game, and oh, hey, this is Josh's number 5, by the way, if you couldn't tell from the little zoomed in pictures, which is important, I guess.
Well, you know what my third is? It's, of course, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, the training simulator for hunters across Astera. Get yours today! Wink. I can't move my face. My face is stuck.
Number 2.
This guy's gonna be Dr. Octopus.
Dr. Octopus!
No, Dr. Octopus.
No, I'm sorry.
Spider-Man! And I didn't forget the hyphen between Spider and Man. The second I saw the trailer for this game, I just had this feeling of total infatuation with it. I've already mentioned how I usually stay away from single-player games, but this is the second one on this list. I've always loved Spider-Man. He's just one of the most relatable superheroes, and that's hit home with me from a young age, but it's been so long since Spider-Man has properly been done justice in a video game. And trust me, I played the living hell out of Spider-Man 2 back in the day. What Spider-Man PS4 brings to the table, however, is, I dare say, say, a truly complete Spider-Man experience. The traversal as a whole is the best it has literally ever been. The web swinging, of course, being an absolutely major part of it, but even when the web stops and you just have to climb up a building, it feels so unbelievably right. The combat, Arkham style in its core, is just so beautifully executed. The animations and the extra options you get as you progress from your gadgets, just making every brawl feel like a gorgeous ballet between two lost souls. And then the story, oh man, the story. There are parts of it some people disagree with, but I'm not one of them. I think that it sets up the universe this game takes place in. It leaves room for a sequel without forcing it right down your throats. Guys, I think this is just the best superhero game that's ever existed. And by God, I will not let it slip past anyone who might be interested in it.
For me, second then, if I should be so bold as to come swinging in, is... this is another one of those where it's also about to prop up again. God of War, okay? I struggle to play single-player games. And the reason I struggle is because for 8 years, I have made videos for you guys. And don't get me wrong, I adore it. I wouldn't change it for the world. I am incredibly lucky, and you all mean the world to me. You really do. But because of that, it has become really hard to just sit down and play a game that doesn't involve my friends or other people just for myself, because I have this overwhelming sense in the back of my head of, you could be making a video right now, why aren't you just making a video? You could be working, what are you doing? Playing a game just for you? You monster, you rotten, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go work, and I know that's stupid, I know it's silly, and it's not as bad as the exaggeration there would make it seem, but I do get that. So for me, it takes a really special game to get me to just sit down, immerse myself, and enjoy it. And God of War is the most special game in that regard I've played since Witcher 3. It's just pure perfection, a masterclass in games design. It has its flaws, it has its problems, it really does, but they are very much overshadowed by the glorious sum of its parts. It has a deep combat system with lots to choose from that let you really weave together the playstyle that suits you. It has some deliciously challenging bosses, even if I'm slightly upset that none of the ones that you have to do for the story are that much of a problem, even on the hardest difficulty, but chiefly the beautiful world and the story. It made me need to know what happened. It connected me to the characters, to Kratos, to Boy, and I really felt like I was on the journey as well, and that is rare for me. I'm generally someone who isn't a fan of games because the story's good. Like, this might be controversial, I don't know, but I think BioShock Infinite's really quite terrible. I think the story and the experience is world class, but the actual game part, the interaction, the I am playing a interactive thing here, is awful, right? The actual mechanical level is terrible, whereas God of War gives you a just beautiful story, as well as some meaty, solid, brutal, engaging, addictive fun to go along with it, and that is something quite special, and certainly rare, and I will remember it for a long, long time. Oh yeah, that reminds me actually, did you feel like putting Fallout?
Number 1.
Fallout 76! Oh, Jesus.
Number 1.
Boy. Atreus! Boy.
You're a boy, aren't you?
God of War. Oh man, where do I even start with this one? Yeah, I know. One final single-player game, because this year was just absolutely really fantastic for single-player gaming. Something beautiful happened here in the development decisions for this game. The God of War series prior to this game was an all-out fun, hack-em-up type of game where you, for the most part, would just hit your coolest-looking ability until everything died. Outside of course, the boss battles, where stuff got a little more interesting, and the story. Oh, God, this story was awesome. If you are at all into Greek mythology, then the story of the older God of War games is the kind of thing to just make you melt as you play it, and that element is still here, but it's changed just a little bit. This time around, God of War is visiting Norse mythology, and they stick to it pretty damn tight, and something crazy happens. It's almost as if the style of the gameplay actually changes with the base of the mythology, and in ways that make sense for them. The Greek-focused games being more brutal and almost like you're in an opera, a video game opera, whereas the Norse game, this game, takes it to a whole new realm, extremely up close and personal and still absolutely brutal, but you really feel like you are becoming a part of the Norse mythology, and that is before we even get to the gameplay. Oh, the gameplay is so good. There's essentially a boomerang axe, and I don't know about you, but shaping a boomerang like an axe makes it about 100 times cooler. And you can go full brawler mode and use a shield complemented by your bare fist. Or you can even... yeah, I guess that one's a bit of a spoiler, but it is awesome. Trust me, the thing that was censored is awesome. You get 3 distinct weapon choices, all with unique skill trees that you can fully fill out however you want to, and you can mix and match and switch between them at any time during combat, and for lack of better words, this game just absolutely makes you feel like the god of war.
You know what? Enough of this. Number 1 for me, how could it be anything else, okay? Because none of this matters. Our life, our hunting is what is important. For me, my best experience all year, undoubtedly, is this world of Monster Hunter. So much to see, to do, and slay. Oh, it's made my day every day. From the start of the year to now, I like how my sword goes kapow when I kill a living creature.
That is my top 5 games of the year.
You mean our top 5? You ignored everything I said on the other games.
Yes, Josh, you're right. Heads on sticks are great.
Why do you treat our hunting partnership like it is some sort of game?
Because it is a game.
It's a what?
Ladies and gentlemen, the thing completely not mentioned on this list, at least by me, is not mentioned for a reason. I felt... not really, Josh.
Don't go bringing me into this now. And who are you talking to? There is just us.
I felt it would be both unfair and obvious to conclude with Monster Hunter World at number 1, but obviously it is for both of us. It really is for both of us. The world, the gameplay, the community, the absolute potential of this new generation of Monster Hunter, every part of it just screams at me. Like, honestly, when I'm not playing this game, it's straight up yelling at me. Please, Cotton, please play me!
What the hell is that a picture from?
But even ignoring those things, this game has been an absolute life changer for me, and I can imagine no way my life would be where it is right now without it. For me, Monster Hunter World comes in at number 0.
Commander!
Yes, Alia, what do you want now?
Cotton, it's Cotton. I think he's gone insane.
Yeah, so does he.
What?
He told me this would happen, Alia. Think about it for a second. Where were you just with Cotton?
We were in my room.
Alia, you can't physically have more than one hunter in that room. We built that insane airlock system for a reason.
But...
he wasn't there, Alia, and he isn't the one who is crazy.
Or maybe I was, and maybe I am.
No! If I'm gonna be part of your stupid non-hunting, whatever this is, I'm gonna contribute my opinion. Edit that out, though.